Hi class, I'm going to go through these sites, and if you watch the whole video, you'll be able to see various examples and get some insights into things that will help you as you build your sites, all right? So I'm going to go in and look at these as a first-time site visitor. I may have seen them, but I'm reviewing them as if I am landing here and interacting with the site for the first time and checking the usability. All right, with this site, it's very clear, very easy to see. Love that. This looks like it doesn't have the same amount of space because of all of this white. So just being careful of which images we select and how much space we put between them. This is good. The dive in, I believe that button works. I thought this was really cute. Make sure, let me see if I can go smaller here. Make sure everybody is working at 100%. Sometimes people will work at 80% and then it looks different. This we want to left align and a little darker font, okay? Something a little easier to read. If you want to edit out a few lines, you can. Good job. You've got your copyright date and the disclaimer. All good. So this is the footer. It's rather deep. Perhaps we have the social icons over here. So let's go through. It feels like we have 3 different fonts. So let's pull these together in some way. Just use 2. This is a good one. And again, the same thing. We need higher contrast here for the font. We do need to put the logo in the header, and it will show up on every page in that way. And you won't need it at the top of this page. That way we can get into content. Just checking the buttons. They're working. Okay. If anybody needs to, you can combine Monday and Wednesday. They're the same location. You could also combine Tuesday, Thursday. They're the same. Okay. Good job here. Very good. I can see a lot of work went into this. Now, I think there's a linking issue here. The events doesn't quite link to that page. Okay, let's move the content above the map and remove any of these social icons that aren't needed and make sure that the ones that are used are linked to the client's account. Okay. Again, this needs higher contrast for readability. But other than that, everything is here and I can tell some time went into it. So good job. Good job with that. Okay, a little overlapping of the symbol there. And maybe a little more space here between the 1 and your symbol there, the dash. Need a little higher contrast here for the word tells falling away. And yeah, all in all, that's all good. Okay, linked up, very good. Fictitious disclaimer, very good. Nice work. We really only need one of these headings because that will get us into the content quicker. We want to watch out, it's beautiful as it is, it's great color. We want to eliminate glassware because it is a food truck. I realize these aren't the most glamorous images, but they are legit. So just be careful with glassware. I think some of the space can be closed up here. Okay, bring those in closer together so we have a little less scrolling. Okay, good. Be careful with AI. We want to use it in a way that we don't know it's being used. We don't want to replace images. Now, I think it's a wonderful idea to use these for a mock-up, for a client, but for their about page, I think that's a really great idea. He's looking just a little angry because of the lighting. Good. Let's take out several lines of that. Good. Let's remove this. It's just a placeholder image. Okay. Okay, good. If you want to find a way to have that maybe on 2 lines instead of 3, so it'll match. Okay. A little more padding underneath the last line and maybe a little less here, not much. Nice image. These are all really great. You may want to consider moving towards the yellow and the aqua if that's going to be a theme. If you're using it for AI work and things like that, maybe you want to pick that color up here. This looks great. It is glassware. You probably could get rid of this. If it were for a real client, you would airbrush that out maybe, and then it might not be as noticeable, but these are great. Good job with all of these. So this is a great site. Interesting. Okay, you always want to be careful. I say that because, strange things happen I do believe this is AI. If nothing else, it's been touched up. Okay, but great site, good work. All right, so this has a parallax scrolling, and that's always tricky. You can remove the background by going into your menu in your editor on the left, and you can go to the A with the color drop. Will let you remove the whole background if you change the color to a solid white. Otherwise, you can oftentimes just select it and say change color or change the background and remove it that way. Okay, so probably don't need a home page. We do need to have the logo in the header, and you will need this image because it's in the background. It's always going to be there. See if you can watch the typography video, and it will talk about how to create contrast here. You've got the type that needs a background, probably a single shape that is a low transparency. And same thing here. The background image is competing. That's what happens with the parallax scrolling. Unfortunately, the background has to be very carefully planned. So otherwise, it becomes difficult to read the menu, all right? And possibly some time went into doing this a little bit, but I would do what you can to have a solid background for your text. Make sure you're using consistent typefaces, everybody. Take out the new. It sounds like, or it looks as though you had to create another one for a link. Same thing here with the content and here. I can see you put the work in. It's that background that's giving you trouble. It's just too difficult to read the content, and that's the most important thing. Okay, and you've got the links here. You would go ahead and put the social icons. I'm looking for the footer, and I don't see that, so that will need to be added. Yeah, that will need to be added with the disclaimer and the copyright year. So not a lot to fix. It's kind of a global fix. If you fix this background and the text background, you're almost there. All right, good job having the logo in the header and very clean navigation. You can just bring the news and contact up out of this so you don't have more. Just have 2 up there instead of 3 and a drop down. Good job. We are scrolling, but none of this is really urgent. This is the most important thing on the page here as far as information. This needs to be entered text. This needs to be entered text. It won't be searchable. Search engines won't find it. And it's a picture of words. So screen readers won't read it. And it won't be clean. It's not clean type. So you'll want to go ahead and enter this content. Looks like you ran out of time. Tonight is the last day for this to be turned in for the grace period. Everybody keep in mind, peer reviews and the week 4 assignments don't have a grace period. All right. Great job. This is very clean and easy to read. Maybe just a little space under there, but gosh, not much to edit there. Okay. Good job. I can see that some time went into this, except the menu. The menu does take the longest, so be sure you set some time aside for that. All right. Let's see. Let's try putting the logo in the header. We try and left align because it's easier for the eye to return. I do like that this has a nice straight edge on both sides, but for readability, that's what we do. I can see this as a style, so I'm not going to harp on it very much, but we do left align paragraph text. I can see this is not an easy template. It requires a lot of editing to convert it from a burger template, food truck, to a taco one. Totally different branding and colors. People assume it's going to be easier because it's a food truck, but it's actually more difficult. Okay, and this is landing in the right place, so you have your anchors in the right place. These need to be linked up to the client accounts. The menu is incomplete, so that needs to be entered. The disclaimer needs to be there, and the red needs to change. You are on the right track with the black and white or gray. Okay. So the contact is going back to the top. That needs to be relinked. Sometimes the easiest thing to do is just to create a new page. You know, in your pages and menu, just create a contact page and remove this one. It will create a new link and title in your navigation. Good job, nice and clean. All right. Okay. All right, so some changes there. And this is a situation where Wix Studio was selected accidentally, and the problem with that is it won't be available in week 4 for the revision because it's unless you've paid for this, Dave, in which case it will be, but otherwise it's a trial and it's only for 2 weeks. So, but you would have higher contrast for the heading, left alignment here, spacing above the image, contrast here, with the same amount of space under your headings, in both cases, left align, heading contrast, and not sure where this isn't a placeholder. I'm not really sure about that. But I don't think it's the area. I could be, let's see. Anyway, this is a placeholder and needs to come out. They don't have a restaurant. It's a food truck. Left align. And let's have the disclaimer, and you've got the copyright here. All right. And of course, we don't have navigation, so just scrolling isn't the best idea. And of course, we need menus and so forth. All right, so ran out of time here, I think. This is placeholder, and a lot of white space. Close that up. I do like this font. I really do. This template's not that easy either, but I would change this and probably use the same font that you've been using. If it's not too decorative. Sometimes display font isn't read well, and sometimes they won't have it on their browser and it won't look the way you think. And so a web font is sometimes better, those that you're familiar with, you know, Helvetica, Roboto, and so on. But this needs to be entered. This needs to be entered. This needs to be entered. And this needs to be entered. So that's the situation there. Like I say, screen readers can't pick it up. It's not as legible. And it's certainly not going to be responsive because it's just a picture. All right. And link these up. Remove this placeholder phone. All right. All right. But you did a good job of having your logo in the header. All right. All right. So I hope that this helps with your revisions, and I look forward to seeing the finishes next week.